guys, it's Samaya,
And this is Avi.
and we're outside Pennsauken High School at the Veterans Day Memorial Ceremony.
And today we have honored the many veterans that have served our country.
We're also honoring all the armed forces. There was a performance by Pennsauken Stages.
Also, ROTC had participated in the ceremony in the new uniforms. Now, let's take a look behind the scenes.
At the people who made the ceremony possible. Hi, I'm Samaya Barnes, and we're in the library with Ms. Zeno, and we're going to ask her a few questions about the Veterans Day Memorial Ceremony. Hi, Ms. Zeno.
Hello.
So can you explain to us the purpose of the memorial ceremony?
Yeah, actually it's not a memorial ceremony that we do on Veterans Day. It's actually more of a celebration. So what we do is we ask for our local vets to come into the library and we honor them for serving our country. So it's more of a festive atmosphere. In the spring we do the Memorial Day ceremony, which is more solemn because we're honoring those who gave their lives in service to our country and didn't make it back home.
Can you tell us what the events were?
Yeah, sure. So we had, first we sent out an invitation to all of Pennsauken. So we sent it out through social media and through emails. We invited our Board of Education to come. And from there we had about, I would say about 40 veterans from Pennsauken who came to our ceremony. So this is how it worked. Sergeant Beltran Bell gave the welcome speech. He's the ROTC, junior ROTC leader, along with Colonel Simmons. Then Mr. Snyder, he emceed the next part of our ceremony, which was to bring in 3 of our students who won the Veterans Day essay contest. That was Shania Barnett and Cassandra Gordon and Rebecca Stollard. Rebecca Stollard actually wrote about a Pennsauken resident named Jack Parvin, who is a 100-year-old World War II vet who actually liberated 7 Holocaust camps. Yeah, so he witnessed the atrocities of the genocide. And he stood up and we honored him. We gave him a big round of applause. And then after that, Carl Maurer was our guest speaker. He's a Vietnam vet. And we have him in every year to talk to our students in U.S. History too about his experience in Vietnam. And he told 2 funny stories that happened to him. And then after that, we went outside to the memorial where the Air Force Color Guard presented the flag. So they do the marching all the way up to the memorial. And while they did that, David Sharis actually sang the national anthem. And then after that, the chorus, led by Mrs. Brown, sang all the anthems of all the armed forces. Yeah.
It's really interesting. So can you tell us what inspired you to plan this program?
Yeah, actually it was our Pennsauken High School alumni. So a few years ago, our alumni, especially from the year 1968, came together to raise funds for a memorial outside. And since then, we've tried to honor those who have fallen during Memorial Day, but also honor those who served in Pennsauken during Veterans Day. So they were the catalyst for starting off these events.
So I understand that one of the veterans was one of your family members. So can you tell us how it felt to grow up in an Army family?
Okay, yeah. So my dad was the guest speaker. His name is Carl Maurer. And actually, we didn't grow up in an Army household. My dad was conscripted into the Army. He was drafted at the age of 19 in 1970. So he wanted to go into the Air Force like everybody else because it was a safer option, but the Army got him first. So actually he, on Good Friday of April 1970, my dad was drafted into the Army, and the next day my dad's Air Force letter came in the mail. He was accepted, and he wasn't able to go in the Air Force. So he was conscripted, and he went to the artillery in Vietnam. So he's the guy that shot off the giant cannons. And then he stayed in country for 15 months, and then returned home to my mom. And I think he came home at the age of 21, and then he married my mom, and then he had me. So because it was the Vietnam War, we didn't hear about the Vietnam War. You know, it was considered a stain on our country. It was a point of shame. So my dad never talked about it, actually. And when I grew up, when I learned about it in school, I was taught that it was something that was a terrible thing. And so I questioned my dad, and he explained to me that he was conscripted, had to serve in Vietnam, but he was proud to do so. So we didn't really hear about it growing up until I was in high school, and then when I started teaching, then I started asking my dad to talk to students about his experience. So I really didn't grow up in an Army household at all. Yeah, we very, very rarely talked about it until I got older.
Hi, I'm Lee Chisholm from Media and Broadcasting, and today I will be interviewing Ms. Schultz's class for the Veterans Documentary. What is your name?
My name is Jesus.
Braden.
And I'm Mrs. Schultz.
And today I will be asking you a couple questions about your poppy flowers. And the first question I have is for you is, what were the poppy flowers for?
They were for the veterans.
My second question is, what did the poppy symbolize?
To share the memory of the veterans.
And my third question is, what taught you now to make them?
So last year I wanted to teach my students how to sew, and we were doing a lot of studies with veterans, and we were doing a lot of community service with veterans, and we had seen some of the veterans that come and visit us, like Mr. Kofoot, Mr. Weaver, Ms. Johnson. They had poppies on their jackets, on their uniforms, and one in particular really stood out to me. It was beautiful, and it almost looked just like this one. So I said to one of our assistants, how can we recreate that? So that's kind of like where the idea came from. And then we knew that it was a nice memory, and that's what poppies are all about. And it's something that they could wear with pride and wear for a very long time.
How did you make them?
We sewed the buttons to the cloth, and
What did we do before we sewed the buttons to the cloth, Braden?
We traced them and we cut them out.
And my final question that I have for you, how many did you make?
over 100 poppies.
That's a lot.
Hi guys, today we're here down at the ROTC program and one of the instructors. We're going to ask them a few questions because if you didn't know, we did have a veterans ceremony the other day, so I want to see how they feel about it and their plans for the program. So can you tell us your name, your rank, and what you do?
My name is Master Sergeant Beltran Bell. I'm the instructor, so I am the aerospace science instructor for the ROTC program. Retired from the Air Force after 25 years. It's been about 2 years that I retired, and just glad to be here and be your first instructor to start up the program here at Pennsauken High School.
Okay, and being a veteran yourself, is there a memory that you feel comfortable sharing with us?
Yes, actually, my first memory of being in the military was when I first went to basic training. And having to spend my first birthday there, I actually cried. I actually went through the withdrawal that maybe I should go home, maybe I should get hurt and go to the hospital. So these are all the memories that everyone that enlists in the military goes through. But in the end, all of these things make you grow and make you the person that you really are today.
Okay, and I did mention the ceremony. Did you enjoy it? Is there a highlight?
Oh, the ceremony was great. In reality, the highlight of the ceremony was the veteran that was 100 years old, and when he stood up, when they played the national anthem, and he got up from his wheelchair and saluted. To me, that was one of the highlights. The other highlights were the poems, the essay that the students read. I thought that they were all well written and they were all wonderful, and they kind of expressed a little bit of different views of what Veterans Day means to them. And to me, that was really the highlight of the program.
Okay, and lastly, I want to ask you about the ROTC program. What are your future goals, and what do you want the students to gain from the program?
Well, the future goals is for the program to grow. All right, so we want by next year to have twice as many students as we have this year. And also I hope that, some of the cadets are impacting, other students as they walk around, as they go to the other classes, as they mingle with the teachers and the administration, that they show some of the stuff that we're teaching them in here and they can share it with the other students. That's what I'm really hoping for.
So as you can see, the ROTC program has a bright future. They have great instructors. I just want to thank you for your service.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it.
And then, you missed it. Please shake hands with anybody that you want to be your friend all the time, not just today. Please shake my hand, please. Thank you for being my friend.
Like, and put.
Grease and ho!
Grease and pull.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Or
To start off, I would like to thank and acknowledge each and every veteran for having served in some capacity in the military for the greatest nation in history. We salute you. Now, what do you think of when you hear the words honor, confidence, courage, respect, and perseverance? What do you think of when you hear that an individual has all of these traits? You think amazing, right? Yes, amazing. These are the true words veterans live by every day. To think of all those men and women who have served in some name of our country, the name of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It's such a powerful thing that we, as a nation, celebrate only once a year. Not enough. We salute you. Veterans Day means to me freedom, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The feeling of not having to feel scared to go outside to see a friend and being protected by the violent individuals in the world. To think of all that our veterans have done for us, the citizens of the United States of America, they sacrificed their lives for our freedom. They stood on the battlefield grounds facing the unknown. Yet, with the gold heart of Golden holding bravery, compassion, and dedication, while we can sit in the comforts of our warm homes, they, the veterans, have to dig holes in the ground surrounded by things to camouflage themselves so that they aren't easily seen, to do what they do best, serve our country. You sacrificed all of that to serve our nation. For that, we salute you. Today, veterans, we honor you. We thank you for your dedication, your courage, your time to serve our great nation. We thank you once, we thank you twice, we thank you 1,000,000 times. We salute you. God bless you, and God bless America.
is a legacy. It's planting seeds in a garden you'll never get to see. I often ponder the breadth of meaning present in this seemingly simple sentiment. At first, it appears to be a plain definition. A legacy is what an individual leaves to their descendants. However, take a moment to ponder what exactly this metaphor states. A garden requires constant vigilant care to remain healthy. It is not simply planting a seed and abandoning the unformed plant. While a gardener may never see the blooming fruits of their labor, their tender care and sacrifice is still necessary to ensure the survival of the plant. I believe this to be the case for our veterans. So often does society forget that those who continued to serve their community sacrificed just as much as those who lost their lives in combat. John Jack Parvin is someone I consider to be a dear friend of mine. As he will be sure to tell you, he is 100 years old and served as a captain during World War II, rising to the rank of lieutenant colonel in 1953. He personally liberated 7 concentration camps and witnessed the devastation of the Holocaust. For those experiences alone, I consider him one of my personal heroes. The burdens he must bear having these memories is incalculable, but not once have I ever seen him cave under the pressure. Nothing makes Jack happier than to go out for lunch on Sundays with my mother and I after church, as he gets to hear about every little thing going on in my life. His support is unprecedented, and it comes completely from the heart. He is the grandfather figure I've always wanted and am now fortunate enough to appreciate. From his military career to his present, Jack continues to sacrifice his time and his efforts to secure the safety and comfort of those around him. I can think of no greater role model. This is what Veterans Day means to me. It is a chance to appreciate and honor those who give their all so those who come after them live in peace. They are the gardeners and us the seeds. For our tomorrow, they gave their today. I strive to live my life as honorably as they do, following their footsteps and setting the example I hope those after me will follow. That is Jack's legacy. That is my legacy. That is our legacy.
We're back in the studio.
We just wanted to mention that after speaking with some of the veterans, one of the veterans have commented this is one of the best veteran ceremony they have been to.
And we'd also like to thank all the people who came out to support, and we'd also like to thank the veterans for their service.